Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something that could be super useful for Yelisha.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at Queensland University of Technology,
Okay.
or QUT, as I'm sure most people call it, as a potential place to work or study.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we've gone through their website and all the info they've got there to bring you the most interesting and useful stuff for you.
Great.
And one of the first things that really caught my eye was their motto,
Okay.
the university for the real world.
I like that.
Yeah, and it seems like they're really all about, actually connecting what you learn to what you do in the real world.
Yeah. That's really important these days.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't want to just be stuck in the ivory tower.
Exactly.
Got to get out there and apply what you've learned.
Yeah, and they seem to really emphasize that,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is pretty cool.
It is cool, yeah. Did you see that they've got researchers working with NASA
Really?
on Mars rovers?
Wow.
Now that's real world on a whole other level. No kidding. Okay, so before we get ahead of ourselves, let's paint a picture of QUT for our listeners.
Sure.
What's the basic setup there?
Okay, so picture this. Brisbane, Australia,
Okay.
sunny, vibrant city.
I like it.
That's where you'll find QUT. Bustling campus with about 50,000 students.
Wow, that's a pretty big university.
It is, and they offer a huge variety of programs.
Oh, okay.
Everything from, your usual business and engineering
Right.
to creative industries, health, law, even social justice.
Wow, so they've got pretty much everything covered.
Yeah, it seems that way. And they've organized all of this across 5 faculties.
5.
So you can imagine the scope.
That's huge.
It is.
Okay, so getting back to this real-world focus,
Yes.
how does that actually play out in what they offer?
Well, this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
They're really big on what they call work-integrated learning.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's that?
So it's not just, your typical internship.
Yeah.
Imagine you're studying engineering, for example. With work-integrated learning, you might actually be collaborating with a local firm on a real project as part of your coursework.
So you're getting real-world experience as you're learning.
Exactly. You're getting hands-on experience. You're building your network,
Mm-hmm.
making your resume stand out, all while you're still learning.
That's brilliant. I can see why they emphasize that.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I bet that's a huge draw for students.
Absolutely. And that's not all.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. They're also big on developing entrepreneurial skills.
Okay, so if you're thinking of starting your own business,
Exactly.
this could be a good spot.
QUT seems like the place to be.
Yeah.
Plus, they have QTechs for executive education
Okay.
and QUT Online, which provides flexible learning options.
Oh, that's great. So they really have a variety of ways for people to learn.
Yeah, and if you're thinking about an undergraduate degree, but need a little extra support, they even have pathways through QUT College.
Wow, so they really seem to have a path for everyone.
Yeah, it seems like they've got a lot of different avenues for people to learn and grow.
It definitely sounds like it. Okay, so we can't forget about research.
Okay.
Just scrolling through their website. And the sheer amount of projects that they're involved in is mind-blowing.
Oh yeah, their research is definitely world-class. What's really fascinating is that they don't just stay in their lane.
Oh, okay, what do you mean?
They're all about collaborating across disciplines,
Mm.
working with industry and government partners to actually, find solutions to real-world problems.
So it's not just research in a vacuum.
Exactly. It's research with a purpose.
I like that. Okay, so give us some examples of
Right.
what they're working on. Like, what stood out to you?
Well, they're tackling some of the big issues facing our world today.
Okay, yes.
Climate change mitigation is a major focus.
Of course.
And they're doing cutting-edge research in areas like renewable energy and sustainable urban development.
Okay.
They're also pushing boundaries in digital media,
Oh, wow.
exploring things like virtual reality and artificial intelligence.
So they're really on the forefront of all this new technology.
Yeah, it seems that way. And then in material science, they're developing innovative new materials with applications in everything from aerospace to healthcare.
It sounds like they're really at the forefront of innovation in so many fields.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, but what about working at QUT?
Oh, yeah.
What's the environment like for employees?
Well, from what I gathered, they seem to really value their staff.
Okay, good.
They offer a blend of on-campus and off-campus work arrangements.
Oh, wow, that's great for flexibility.
Exactly.
Wow.
And they have competitive salaries.
Okay,
And this is where things get a little technical.
all right.
But they offer something called salary packaging,
Salary packaging.
which can actually help you save money on taxes.
Oh, interesting.
Basically allows you to pay for certain expenses with pre-tax income.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. It sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, and on top of that, They have generous parental leave,
That's great. And a whole bunch of health and wellness benefits. Oh, like what?
like Fitness Passport, which gives you access to a network of gyms and fitness facilities.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It is.
Okay, so salary packaging, that's definitely something I need to look into. But it sounds like they really prioritize their employees' well-being,
It seems that way.
which is fantastic.
Yeah,
But what about their commitment to diversity and inclusion?
that's a great question.
Yeah, I know that's something a lot of people are looking for in a workplace these days.
You're right, it's a huge factor. And from what I've seen, QUT seems to be walking the walk on that front.
Okay, tell me more. What's their approach?
Well, they have a specific Indigenous Australian employment strategy
Okay.
with a goal of 3.6% Indigenous Australian workforce participation.
Wow, that's higher than the national average.
It is, yeah. And it's not just about hitting a number.
Good.
They actually have a bunch of initiatives to support Indigenous Australian staff,
Like what?
including cultural awareness training and mentorship programs.
That's amazing. So they're really actively trying to create a more inclusive and representative workforce. I'm impressed. What else can you tell us about their values and culture?
Well, they actually outline their core values on their website.
Oh, okay. What are they?
Ambition, curiosity, integrity, inclusiveness, innovation, and academic freedom.
So it's not just lip service.
No,
Yeah.
it seems like these values actually permeate everything they do.
Yeah.
From their research, to their teaching, to how they treat their employees. It's about fostering a culture of excellence,
Yeah.
but also one of respect and support.
It really does seem like they've got a great thing going on over there.
I think so.
So much to unpack here.
There really is. But I think what's most exciting about QUT is that they're not just talking about these values, they're putting them into action, particularly when it comes to their research. We touched on the variety earlier, but I think it's worth taking a closer look at a few specific projects to really get a sense of their impact.
You're right. I'm still thinking about those drones in Antarctica. What's
Yeah.
the story there?
So picture this. These aren't your average drones taking pretty pictures. QUT researchers have equipped them with all sorts of high-tech sensors, and they're sending them out to map and monitor the Antarctic environment. They're collecting crucial data on ice sheet thickness changes in wildlife populations, even the impact of climate change on this delicate ecosystem.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like they're sending these little robotic explorers to the ends of the earth to help us understand what's happening. It's not just about collecting data, it's about using that data to inform conservation efforts and protect this incredibly vulnerable region.
Exactly. And their work goes beyond Antarctica. Remember, we mentioned disease-resistant crops in Uganda. This is another example of QUT's commitment to using research to address real-world problems. They're working with scientists in Uganda to develop disease-resistant varieties of cassava, which is a staple food crop in many African countries. Cassava is highly susceptible to viral diseases that can wipe out entire crops, threatening food security for millions of people.
That's such important work. It's inspiring to see how QUT is leveraging their expertise to make a tangible difference in people's lives, especially in regions facing such significant challenges.
It really is. And their global reach doesn't stop there. They're also collaborating with French automotive companies on autonomous vehicle technologies. They're helping to develop and test self-driving cars, with a focus on improving safety, efficiency, and reliability. This research has the potential to revolutionize transportation as we know it. And it's exciting to see QUT playing a key role in that.
It's amazing how they manage to be involved in such diverse and cutting-edge projects, but of course we can't forget about their work with NASA on the Mars rovers. What exactly are they doing on that front?
Well, this is where their expertise in robotics and autonomous navigation comes in. They're working with NASA to develop navigation systems for the Mars rovers, helping to guide these robotic explorers across the Martian surface as they collect data and expand our understanding of the red planet. It's like something out of a science fiction movie.
I know. From drones mapping the icy landscapes of Antarctica to algorithms guiding rovers across Martian craters, it's clear that QUT researchers aren't afraid to push the boundaries of scientific discovery. And it's not just about these headline-grabbing projects. They're involved in so many other areas of research, from renewable energy technologies to developing new cancer treatments.
Absolutely. They're a research powerhouse, constantly seeking new knowledge, pushing the boundaries of innovation, and collaborating with partners around the globe to make a real difference. And it's this commitment to real-world application that makes QUT so unique.
You're right. It's not just about publishing papers and attending conferences. It's about using their expertise to address real-world problems and make a tangible impact on society.
Exactly. And this mindset extends beyond research. It's woven into their teaching, their partnerships, and even their approach to creating a diverse and inclusive community. We talked about their Indigenous Australian employment strategy earlier, but it's just one example of how they're putting their values into practice.
We've covered a lot of ground here, from cutting-edge research to their commitment to diversity and inclusion. But I'm wondering, what does all of this mean for our listener? How can they connect this information to their own goals and aspirations?
That's a great question. I think the key is to consider what you're looking for, both personally and professionally. If you're someone who thrives in a collaborative and innovative environment, who's passionate about making a real-world impact, and who values diversity and inclusion, then QUT might just be the perfect fit.
I agree. Whether you're considering furthering your education, exploring new career opportunities, or simply wanting to be part of a community that's pushing the boundaries of knowledge and innovation, QUT is definitely worth a closer look.
Absolutely. Their website is a great resource, packed with information about their programs, research, and even what it's like to live and study in Brisbane. But beyond the facts and figures, it's about getting a sense of their culture, their values, and whether you can see yourself thriving in that kind of environment.
So we've talked a lot about what QUT has to offer. But what about the other side of the coin? What are some of the potential drawbacks or challenges that someone might encounter at QUT? It's important to get a balanced perspective, right?
You're absolutely right. It's essential to consider both the pros and the cons before making any decisions. Now, I haven't come across any major red flags in my research, but there are a few things to keep in mind. For one, Brisbane is a bustling city, which can be exciting, but also overwhelming for some. The cost of living can also be a factor, as with any major metropolitan area. And while QUT has a strong focus on real-world application, it's still an academic institution, which means there will be theoretical components to their programs. So if you're someone who prefers purely hands-on learning, that's something to consider.
That's a really good point. It's all about finding the right fit for your individual learning style and preferences. And speaking of fit, I'm curious about the social aspect of QUT. What's the campus culture like? Is it a place where people can easily connect and make friends?
From what I've gathered, QUT seems to have a pretty vibrant and active campus life. They have a wide range of clubs and societies catering to all sorts of interests, from sports and music to debating and volunteering. They also have excellent facilities, including state-of-the-art libraries, modern learning spaces, and well-equipped sports and recreation centers. So there are plenty of opportunities to get involved, meet new people, and have fun outside of the classroom.
That seems great. It's important to have a balanced lifestyle, especially when you're studying or working in a demanding environment. And I imagine those employee benefits we talked about earlier, like the flexible work arrangements and wellness programs, probably contribute to a more positive work-life balance as well.
You're absolutely right. It seems like QUT recognizes that happy and healthy employees are more productive and engaged. And for students, having access to those facilities and support services can make a big difference in their overall well-being and academic success.
Okay, so we've talked about research, diversity, campus life, even potential drawbacks. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have. But I think it's important to remember that this is just a snapshot of QUT. There's so much more to discover.
You're right. What we've discussed today is just the tip of the iceberg. But hopefully it's given our listener a good starting point for their own exploration.
Exactly. And I think the best way to truly understand a place is to experience it for yourself.
I couldn't agree more. So if you're feeling even a little bit intrigued by what you've heard today, I encourage you to reach out to QUT, visit their campus if you can, and connect with their community. You might just be surprised by what you discover.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. The more you explore, the better equipped you'll be to make an informed decision about whether QUT is the right fit for you.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on for part 2. We've covered a lot of ground, but there's still more to come. We'll be back soon to wrap up our deep dive into QUT and leave you with some final thoughts to ponder. Welcome back, everyone, for the final part of our deep dive into QUT. We've spent this episode really getting to know Queensland University of Technology, and I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with what we've found.
Me too. It's been fascinating to really peel back the layers and see all the cool stuff they're doing.
Yeah, they're not just keeping up with the times, they're actively shaping the future.
Right.
Through their research, they're teaching their commitment to real-world impact.
It's pretty impressive.
It is. Before we wrap up, though,
Yeah.
I wanted to circle back to something you said earlier about QUT being a place where someone could really flourish.
Right.
What did you mean by that?
Well, it's more than just getting a degree or landing a job. It's about, finding an environment that aligns with your values,
Okay.
that challenges you to grow, that gives you the support you need to succeed. And from everything we've learned today, it seems like QUT might just tick all those boxes.
I see what you mean. They've got that strong emphasis on practical skills and real-world experience,
Yeah,
which is so valuable nowadays.
absolutely.
Plus, their focus on innovation and collaboration. I think that creates a really stimulating environment
For sure.
for learning and growth.
Yeah, and their commitment to diversity and inclusion really speaks volumes
Yes.
about their values and creating a welcoming and supportive community.
It's not just about getting that degree or job.
Yeah,
It's about finding a place where you belong, where
exactly.
you can thrive.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the most important question to ask yourself is, given your interests, your goals, what matters to you? Could you see yourself thriving in an environment like QUT?
That is a great question. And I think the answer might surprise you.
It might.
Maybe QUT is exactly what you've been looking for, or maybe it's just sparked your curiosity to explore other options.
Right.
But either way, I hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights and food for thought.
Absolutely. It's all about expanding your horizons, exploring those possibilities, and ultimately finding the path that's right for you.
So there you have it, everyone, our deep dive into Queensland University of Technology. We hope you found it insightful and engaging.
Yeah. And remember, this is just the beginning. There's a whole world out there, full of amazing institutions and opportunities just waiting to be discovered. So keep exploring, keep learning, and never stop asking questions.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep diving deep.